Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Town of Waukesha Town Board meeting on December 22nd, beginning at 6:31 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have any volunteers that would like to lead us? We have one.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Chairman Mayor.
Present.
Supervisor Fisher.
Here.
Supervisor Wolf.
Here.
Supervisor Radke.
Here.
Supervisor Durr.
Here.
Thank you.
And Madam Clerk, have we met the requirements of the opens meeting law?
Yes, we have.
And we could begin with citizens' comments. Going once. Almost got to twice.
Good evening, everyone. Mike Borchert, West 231, South 5205, Hunters Hollow. Snow plowing again has started, and it always seems to be a challenge for the town of Waukesha. And I appreciate the direction that the board is going in by purchasing more trucks. There's going to be a new building going up, going to have a salt facility. So these are the new adding more trucks was something I talked about a couple years ago. So I know we're going in the right direction. We're never going to be able to go back when we had Jacobson. That was ruined by previous administration, and they've moved on. So I guess we got to move on. I've talked with supervisors and some of the concerns, and I hear they're being addressed. Got neighbors that are complaining, and I've said, well, call in and express your concerns, but I says, don't go yell at anybody, just be polite about it and tell them what the problems are, and they will be addressed. I know Supervisor Dorr has been working very hard and putting a lot of time into the effort to improve things. I just hope that that continues to improve, because there have been some issues, and I would just like to see the service get back to where we used to have it, like 5-6 years ago. So people do come up to me in a subdivision and complain and things like that. And I try and explain to them what I know and make them understand that it's not a perfect scenario. It's not like cutting grass. Every snowfall is different. And so sometimes we just got to bear with it, and hopefully things will get better. So that's kind of where we're at. Just hoping that things do improve, and thank Supervisor Dorr for all his efforts in taking phone calls and things like that. So let's hope for the best, and maybe we won't have a lot of snow.
Too late.
Thank you.
We already have.
Anybody else? Then we could move on to reports, beginning with the Sheriff's Department. I see Deputy Moose back there.
Should put it back down to his height. All right, so to start for November numbers, total calls for service were 90. To list off just a few of those, then some assist other calls was at 21. Fire or EMS calls 13. The building checks were 62, citations 24 with warnings at 11. Accidents, just property damage, 4, 1 injury accident, 5 car deer accidents, 2 domestic calls, 2 frauds, and let's see, 2 theft calls, 2 trespassing calls, and 3 animal cases for the larger ones. Any questions?
Questions for Deputy Moose? Thank you. And on to the fire department.
The month of November, we had 35 ambulance requests, 7 vehicle accidents, 10 fire responses. Mutual aid was given 11 times. We received mutual aid 8 times. 5 of those 8 times were for our paramedic interchange with Town of Vernon. 1 member left the department in November. We're maintaining 37 active members. 2 members are on leave of absence, secretary, treasurer. Right now, we have no high school cadets. We did participate in the Christmas parade in downtown Waukesha in November. Fire inspections have just wrapped up this week for 2016, so that project is complete.
Just out of curiosity, if I recall correctly, mutual aid, we seem to give a lot more than we receive. Is that pretty much?
It kind of varies. It's back and forth. I know 2015, I think the numbers were like, and maybe I shouldn't say this because I don't remember exactly, but there were only, between giving and receiving mutual aid was only 5 different.
Okay, just curious.
It comes out pretty close at the end. There's some months we receive more than we give. Some months we give more than we receive. At the end of the year, it comes out pretty close.
This time of year, you'd rather give, right?
Exactly.
Thank you. And on to the clerk treasurer.
We've had 2 very large public records requests, one from Harvey Wasserman from the Columbus Institute for Contemporary Journalism and Peter Pekarski from Columbus, Ohio. Both were concerning the election and recount documents. They were both sent letters as suggested by council. The report from Big Bend Court in November, there were 17 initial appearances, 2 adjournments, 14 pretrials. All citations that are at least 90 days old, some back from 2009, have been entered into the state collections. And that comes to 227 citations worth $33,178. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Question, Mr. Chairman, though, just can you give us a little more information on those large open records
Sure.
request? What is it that you were asked to provide or had to provide, and how much time and effort did it take to do that?
Well, we did not complete them. We sent them letters for clarification. They wanted images of all the ballots, electronic images from the machines of all the ballots. So it was a very large request.
Of every ballot? An
Of every
electronic image
ballot.
of Every
There
ballot.
were 62 different documents they wanted, or groups of documents they wanted. All of the absentee envelope, certificate envelopes, they wanted copies of all of those. It's a very large public records request, and between our council and the Government Accountability Board, or the Wisconsin Election Commission, they've been working with us because it's the same one that went around the whole state.
Thank you.
On to well monitoring. Supervisor Fisher, do you have anything for that?
The well monitoring was completed again in October for the fall part of it. I have organized that into a completely historical, full and accurate report. We'll provide copies of that to people, but it's been completed. The intention, unless the board directs otherwise, would be to monitor again in the spring. That would probably be in April or thereabouts. That's what Dr. Schirkauer recommended, twice annually, and try to get onto a rhythm, if you will, for doing that, which would basically be spring and fall.
Thank you. Any questions for Supervisor Fisher? On to 7, new business, discussion and possible action on ordinance 2016-01 weight limits. You all have the new revised version with Attorney Macy's changes and comments.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance 2016-01 for weight limits.
And a second. Discussion.
Yeah, discussion. I think there needs to be something be addressed at 10-1-11A2 bullet point 2.
Can you repeat that, please?
Pardon me?
Can you repeat the
Yes.
section?
Okay, front page 10-1-11A2, second bullet point.
Good, thank you.
I think we need to put that it should be Prairie Avenue north of Sunset to the Waukesha limits, because that, the way it reads, it could be starting on the south of Prairie all the way to the north on Prairie.
Thank you.
Prairie Avenue north of Sunset.
And that was the intent of our discussion.
So it'd be Sunset North
Right.
instead of north of the city limits. Because there is city limits to the south of Sunset.
So it should be Prairie Avenue, Sunset north to the city limit.
Or north of Sunset to the city limits. Or Sunset north to the
To
city
the city
limits.
limit, right. And that was as we discussed.
Supervisor Fisher?
Quick, just a real quick question for Attorney Macy, and it applies to this ordinance revision, but to other things as well. I sense on a couple of these things, the direction we're heading pretty much is not to try to repeat verbiage in state statutes word for word, particularly because some of that goes, basically gets revised and we don't catch up with it. I guess first question, is that generally the sense where we're going with some of these ordinance revisions, that we don't completely repeat state statutes, we make reference to them? And then I guess the other question I would have is, so it's not part of the ordinance, is that simply up to anybody who's trying to use the ordinance to research the state statutes, or do we at any point in time provide a publication of any of those kind of things for reference, or is that a direction we want to go to? Do they just go the state statutes on their own? Is that generally where we're headed?
I would say the answer is yes. That in the old days, it seemed when people weren't easily able to access the statutes, that we would put the statutes in. And I think in your recodification efforts, you're going to see the staff going to great lengths to remove the statutory language and just referencing it. I think that's because we believe people now have pretty good access to the state statutes. As to your second point of whether we would have it available, I don't know what you mean by that. We could have a link on our website to the state statutes that they could easily search. That would be a service we could provide. Pretty much everybody who deals with this on a daily basis has a quick link to the Wisconsin, Reference Bureau and the statutes and all the laws and things. So that would probably be a good idea.
I think the link would probably be a good thing. Again, people who use it regularly, fine, but I mean, if that's something that is there, that would always be up to date, then I would think on the link, so it's not an issue with that, but particularly for people who don't routinely use that type of thing, if we could make that as easy for them to get access to it, I think that would be a wise thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, we've got a first and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to B, operator's license for Rachel Volberl, Neighbors Bar and Grill. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the operator's license for Rachel.
Volberl. And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to accounts payable, authorization for the payment of the bills.
Make a motion to pay the Rupert Milky bill in the amount of $69.1404.
Yes.
Second.
And Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Durr,
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf,
Aye.
Chairman Merrick.
Aye.
Supervisor Radke,
Aye.
and Supervisor Fisher.
Abstain.
Motion carries. On to the balance of the bills of $61,002.70. Is there a motion?
So moved in that amount.
And a second.
I'll second.
And Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Durr,
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher,
Aye.
Chairman Merrick,
Aye.
Supervisor Radke,
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to 9, an announced closed session. You are hereby notified that the town board of the town of Waukesha will convene and may upon duly made motion and seconded and acted upon by roll call vote as required in Wisconsin Stats 1985 sub 1 sub E go into closed session during the course of the meeting. Town board members may attend the closed session. The purpose of the closed session will be as follows. Purpose of the meeting, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which a government body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility as authorized under 1985 sub 1 sub C, specifically to review employee evaluations. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make a motion. We go into closed session.
And a second.
I'll second.
And Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Durr,
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher,
Aye.
Chairman Merrick,
Aye.
Supervisor Radke,
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf.
Aye.
We will be back shortly.
I'm gonna punch out even though I'm not leaving. Because I'm just gonna stay here and work, but I'm not charging you for sitting here. Because I'm not involved in the closed session and I would leave now regularly, right?
That's good news.
I would not, I mean, how long are you gonna be? I mean, is this a lot of reviews? No, I just normally would leave and I just wanted to make people think I wasn't staying here, you know. I didn't know how many people they were reviewing. That's probably about how many employees we have, huh? How many employees are they reviewing?
Just the 3 department
I just wanted the public to think I wasn't, I'm only staying for the party now. I thought there'd be a lot more questions on the way to. Maybe because I was here, they didn't. I just wanted it to be put to rest.
Getting close to bedtime. What's going to happen Sunday? It's nice to have them with each other. We used to do that, but everybody moved away. And we never
Your two cousins, their parents. Where are we forgetting? Uncle David, Auntie Kristen, Auntie Erica. We got them. There's 9, and then 3 of us. Yeah, that doesn't sound like. Yeah, I recognize that.
Oh, you didn't do any? Oh. Not even your own? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have to plow that one too. And the neighbors, their farm yard, falls.
It's nice that it is a dry snow.
Oh, yeah.
Not every wet stuff that we got.
Last year.
And it's supposed to be a wet one coming.
It's gonna be rain with it, but some of them, 1 or 2 inches, so that's.
But it's same time.
We get rain on it after that, we'll probably wash it away.
Never had a cold.
Me too.
My own horse, whenever I carry bedroom.
You don't have enough property to get a horse. I don't want to move. We've got too much stuff.
I want it. I'm gonna grab them.
Rebecca, for your friends from school.
Well, I am not gonna post you.
First time. We'll go over to Fort Atkinson. Her daughter lives over there. So she's doing this.
So the roads are too bad for you.
Oh, it's only 40-some miles. She was at our church. There's nobody there, just her. They drove through the parking lot because she had stuff to carry in. And they stopped, took her license. Unlike that, this is going on there. Not really their jurisdiction.
Do they leave chickens out in the car? Generally, they would, they may mail it.
About you.
But I think two, some are in Kansas City and some are in Washington,
First one or what?
Was there anyone out there? Our main family is in Kansas City. And our son, I'm not sure if he's gonna go to Kansas or just stay in Washington. But we'll see him for New Year's.
We have a son in Pittsburgh area. We were there, well, the first part of the month. Granddaughter was the lead in the fifth and sixth grade. Always was concerned I have
Okay.
Our youngest son.
She said possibly.
I would say that. Yeah. Well, it's church property. I think that, I told her I thought one of the reasons they would look at her.
It's in the city, I'm not sure.
It is in the city.
Oh, well, then, yeah, she has jurisdiction.
The, I guess is a C1 car lot. Make the license just in case something comes up.
I was there folding the bulletins and there were 300 and some pulled today, so I was plus 2 answers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna take me forever to get in. And then I walked by the sanctuary and I noticed that the poinsettias, the leaves are wilting, so I'm going in. They have to last through Saturday. Because, well, Sunday, but it was Saturday night. And so I stopped and watered 20.7. And I'm like, okay, not to haul the water from the back of the church. So all the lights are on and there's one car in the parking lot. I'm like, I bet you think this is suspicious. And I'm like, yeah, it's suspicious. Because the sanctuary lights are all on, our next lights are on, because we're walking through there and then the hallway lights are on, and the kitchen lights are on. I guess it wouldn't be the first time at Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They're paying attention.
There was an article on the news tonight, some lady in a Escalade, where she was going for a class, and she worked there before, but she was getting almost full of it's underprivileged. She was the electrician, she was doing it to get them to clients.
Really? Oh,
And the sheriff said at this point we had 100 agents. We'll tell them to do it. Anything that was said now. Survived the snow.
Like boarding the plane. That's probably the quality.
Yeah, we don't have much. Kind of the end of the week,
all those big items, they're all still stacked. Yeah, they were.
I have to put water in my phone.
Right.
Well, it was getting dry, I think the deer are water.
Probably.
So I gotta drag a hose, either from the hose bib up on the deck or through the basement.
Well, when you're out there, you need to fix that.
Yeah, we have a spot on the deck. It's ice dance. I have not put a perfect solution. I have that, what you do, there's metal stripping. Take all those screws out, and you'll find that there's a mastic on the glass. That mastic will be loose and there'll be sand where it gave way, and now the water runs under that and comes in. And our grandson in Pennsylvania, Delaware, his wife's dad owns Alaska. Mike told me to get a viewer, and it's a strip about an inch wide, it's real sticky. Take that off and flat a little bit, and put that viewer down, put that down, and that'll seal it. So I did that. Yeah, they dry out. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Oh, I got 4 years. I'm chocolate flooring. I can't find it.
We really like the floor.
I still like it.
We still have. Yeah.
No, it's hilarious.
But they don't make it anymore because they can't get a suspension.
They're reliving their glory days. So I'm still waiting. After we're done that, right?
Yeah, when we were first grade, we used to, they had.
Didn't do it last week, but yeah. Really?
Stay at my house and we go over to the dance. Over there. High school. Passed me. But put my name on better. Police were finally. Finally came over and grabbed him. And I thought, oh, good. He was just being a jerk.
You don't see your breath. That's how warm it is from the cold. You don't see your breath.
Well, you've been doing anything exciting?
That's right across the house. I did this one straight across the south. Doors flying everywhere. The worst part of it is good.
And we are back in open session. Is there a motion to proceed with the items that we discussed in closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to address the performance review and compensation issues as discussed in the closed session.
In a second,
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And lastly, a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. See you next year.